What's up, everybody? Today is a very serious episode. Today on the channel, Mario and Sonic go head to head. That's right, I had to dress up as a referee because my job in this particular video is to mediate this conflict between the two great video game IPs, Sonic the Hedgehog and Super Mario. Who has the better music? Both of them do. This is just for fun. We're gonna find out today. The rules are simple. Each game has 5 tracks. I'll listen to each track, talk about each track, and then at the end of the day, there can only be one winner. First up, we'll start with Sonic. Honeycomb Highway from Sonic Lost World. Probably one of the best Sonic games ever made, and that's what the community says. Man, that jazz piano's sick. Ah! So let's stop there. This will be the first stop of this song. What I have to say is what I really like about this, and this generally is across the board for all Sonic music, is the sheer enthusiasm and the excitement within this piece. The forward momentum, especially that rhythm. There's a lot of wonderful unison movement coming in here. I love the percussion in the background. It's sort of like bongo drum style sound. I think it's a really frenetic, really energetic piece that's bright, warm, friendly, outgoing, just all the things that we would use to describe Sonic. I think it's really fun. Oh, I love that drum set in there. Love this flute in there too. Something else that I'm noticing here as we stop for the second time, something that's really fascinating and really pleasant about this is it has a little bit of like jazz influence in there. I should say big band. There's a big band quality in there that's really just boosting this piece up. There's also really fun transitions from one phase to another. It seems really easy to do, and really a good transition is basically imperceptible to us as listeners. But there's a couple here as we've sort of shifted into different phases of this track, and there have been several phases that are all like just delightful. Using the variety of whether it's saxophone, trumpet, flute, all of these sort of lend themselves to this, well, what's the piece called? Honeycomb Highway. It just feels like not only are we moving quickly, but it also, to me, it actually gives the impression of a jungle. Honeycomb, bees are busy, they're buzzing, they're moving around fast, they're going from point A to point B, they're really efficient. The characterization of those honeybees is very like, I gotta go, and that's really fun. I love this. Amazing harmony there. I love that drum set right there. That drum set where it emphasizes the beat there. Nice call and response there with the electric guitar too. Awesome bass if you listen to the bass in the background. That's really cool too. Yeah, it definitely has a 70s vibe to it for sure. But this melody, da da da, pia, ba 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 ba. Yeah. So I mean, like, what a delightful track. I mean, there's so much to enjoy about that. It's bright, it's playful. I've said that like 6 times, but it's worth repeating how much a piece of music can deliver an emotional quality. Now, yeah, we could get into the weeds about like, well, the harmonies here and the chords here and all that other stuff, but like more importantly, what I'm really curious about, and basically how I'm judging these pieces from all IPs that it will eventually do, but certainly from Sonic and Mario here, is the vibes, is the energy, is the piece, motivating, is the piece sad, does it have a complexity about it, is it simple, how is the melody? And in this one, I mean, it's a terrific track and the melody was delightful, really was awesome. Okay, so Sonic, you sit down. Now we've got Steam Gardens from Super Mario Odyssey. This is so fascinating because actually, so I don't want to compare them too much on their own in the first sort of go as I sort of hear them for the first time. I want them to kind of stand on their own. But what I really like about this piece is that it actually isn't dissimilar to Honeycomb Highway. They both have kind of a 70s, sort of late 70s into 80s aesthetic about it. It has a real like spy sound. It's very gentle. There's a warmth in that sound especially as well. It does also have the same kind of energy where it's it actually has a bit of a desert or Wild West soundscape. There's a lot of confidence in that sound, especially with the guitar and the lower register. Great jazz piano in there too. I love that harmony in there. Now we're distinctly in a second phase with the switch with the jazz piano. So I love this middle section. The transition from this section, from the first section into the middle section and then back to the A. So the ABA structure of this is really familiar to me based on my classical background, which is odd because you wouldn't think that there would be any sort of correlation between Super Mario and classical music. But what I really like about that is the actual confidence of that sound. Also, there's a muffled quality in here, which I find really interesting and appealing. There's a virtuosity in this piece that I think is really impressive and really fun to listen to. The harmony that we get at the very tail end of the sort of first A section is amazing. The jazz piano section, first of all, we don't hear jazz piano all the time. Even in jazz, I don't really think it comes up very frequently, but that sound is so distinctly jazz. I really like that. And I do like the energy here. Interestingly enough, the sort of rhythmic backing of this track is very similar. A jazz organ, jazz piano. Yeah. Right there, that harmony is amazing. Really appreciate the accentuated muted trumpets here. Oh no, they're not muted, but the trumpets in the back are really cool. It feels very improvisatory, very free. Yeah, I mean, energetically, it is a bit different than the Sonic track, so it's hard to really pinpoint which of these two is the better composition. And certainly, while this is a fight to the death for these characters, sorry, Sonic, sorry, Mario, I hate to put you in an awkward situation. It's really tough to decide between the two because both of these are wonderfully valid and terrific pieces of music that provide different contexts, different feelings, and different kind of emotions. And that's the whole point. How amazing that these two IPs that are not, I mean, they're similar in their sort of design, but they're not similar at the same time. You know, both of these can have really, really terrific pieces of music and present us with warm contexts to understand and appreciate. That doesn't make any sense, but you know what I'm saying? Like the emotion is there, and it's just a matter of choice. And in this particular case, this could really go any way. Still, it's still early days for this competition between these two rivals, but I would have to say that in this case, I liked the energy of the Sonic track more, even though there were some musical things that I felt were better in the Mario track. So that's that. So Sonic 1, Mario 0 at currently. Next up, we've got Rusty Ruins Act 2 from Sonic 3D Blast, Sega Saturn version. Oh, cool. What? Wow, I'm shocked. Wow, gorgeous piano. Man, that piano and that random chorus really send it home. This is a really good track. What an incredible piece. And honestly, a couple things really stood out to me. The piano is incredibly ethereal, actually very surprisingly ethereal for a Sonic track. By now, I shouldn't be surprised at how Sonic music manages to constantly capture different themes and different sounds, and I shouldn't underestimate Sonic music, but the piano in here is incredibly ethereal, deeply emotionally kind of moving even, but there's a pattern there where we're actually pointing upwards, and I think that really upward motion towards the sky kind of visually does lend itself to the idea of hope and brightness and like a possibility for the future. I also really like the chorus, and I think that the chorus is super under like sort of below the surface, a little bit underappreciated or even a little underrated. The chorus in this actually elevates it to a level that makes it actually far more interesting. Now, granted that the chorus, there's two parts. The chorus, one section is just right, that's it. It's just a little bit of an accent. And then the other part is with the male singers there. Oh, that sound mixed in with all the different layers is delectable. Yeah. This must be like a saxophone. This must be a saxophone in MIDI. Nice. See, now the piano's taking over. Still has movement though. It's not actually slow tempo wise. This also sounds like there's a guitar in the background there. Yeah, that's terrific stuff, and that keeps going for a little bit there. Admittedly, that is incredible. What an awesome track. It's super, super chill. It's interesting because chill doesn't mean slow. Chill can still have momentum and movement, and it can still be really interesting. Chill doesn't have to mean, falling asleep to it. I'm really impressed by that. It's going to be tough to beat, I have to say. It's going to be tough to beat. Next up for Super Mario. Mario's over here looking at me, threatening me that we are both Italian and that I obviously need to give Mario 1 point over Sonic. We're listening to Mario Kart DS 150cc mirror credits. Let's check this out. I can't imagine this is the same vibe. I had one of my mods pick these tracks, and needless to say, my mod did very well. I'm surprised. Hey! Listen to that bass. Yeah, didn't even stop once at that one. I gotta say, that one kind of blew me away. There's something about it that at the beginning it was so peaceful and so chill, and it really took us on a journey, didn't it? And by the end of it, we really felt like we were flying through the clouds. We really felt like we were in a place of delight. We were in a place of joy, almost the celebration kind of quality of sound there. Delightful bass throughout this entire piece that really, I think, like buoyed and elevated the piece. And on top of that, I really appreciated that it didn't do the ABA sort of structure. It really kept us going, and it kept us moving through those pieces, through the whole piece, I should say. It was wonderfully delightful, and it offered really interesting structure musically, because I think again, because it doesn't stop and it constantly is shifting. When we went into the second part of it, the sort of B phase, I expected to kind of go back to A, but then when we switched it up again, the melody really took charge. And one of the things that I really appreciated about this in particular was the use of melody to like tell that musical story. So for me, it's a done deal. Mario 1-1, Sonic versus Mario. We are now tied. It's hard to deny Mario with this particular track. And no, it's not because he's looking at me like that. It has nothing to do with that. Mario in this particular case definitely triumphed over Rusty Ruins Zone Act 2, though I absolutely loved that piece. We're going to head over to Sonic Unleashed, which historically has been one of my favorite Sonic soundtracks to listen to. Still have a lot to go in that particular soundtrack. This is Arid Sands Night from Sonic Unleashed. Hard to deny how good Unleashed soundtrack is, and also how terrible it is according to IGN's review of that game. Let's check it out. Oof. I love that. I love the trumpet emphasis there. Oh man, the lower sax there too. Ooh. Yeah. Man, this is a nice sax big band here. Oh! Man, that improv is sick in there. It's such an expressive thing. Oh, man. Absolutely ripping on that sax. Terrific improvisation there. So let me just stop for 2 seconds and just say, obviously I am filming this live, and one of the interesting things that someone said was that this is the werewolf taking charge. You definitely hear that. As we've continued on through the track, we have two distinct versions of Sonic in this particular case, and that's actually a great idea. I didn't pick up on that because I forgot that that's what happens in Sonic Unleashed, which makes sense. And it does feel like that saxophone is being unleashed. That saxophone is being opened up and allowing itself to kind of explore and roam and really be animalistic. If you haven't seen it, I do have a non-gamers react video featuring Dan Grazer, who's a terrific saxophone instructor and player. We talked a lot about the different ways that players can modify and use the saxophone to create interesting and diverse sounds, whether it's a wail, whether it's a growl, whether it's a scream. And that particular soundscape, when that they believe it's the alto sax takes over, after we get the whatever, that's a different song, but whatever. That's really cool because that's actually like lending personality and applying a musical context to something in game. And we see this all the time in video games. So it's not like a special thing for Sonic or this particular track, but I love the fact that we're getting characterization through music, which is a very common thing to have done in the world of music, to have instruments lend themselves to sound like animals. We see this, I believe, in pictures at an exhibition. Isn't that Rimsky-Korsakov? No, it's Modest Mussorgsky, I think. Well, whatever. One of the Russians. The sound quality of Animals actually comes through within the music itself and the instruments that are playing them. I mean, obviously you hear this all the time. Flutes sound like birds and so on and so forth. So it's really, really dope to get something like that in a video game, but get it in like a big band sort of like oppositional context. You know what I mean? Not to mention how cool it is to have this large saxophone ensemble, if you will, sort of doubling in harmony, and then having this sax just kind of poke out and really like elevate itself. It's dope as hell. Oh, nice. The bass takes over. I love this. Oh, a little dissonance in there, baby. It's all over the place. So good. Shut up. Oh! Man, you hear the grind in that? Ooh, nice. They come back together. I love that little nice accent there. Oof. A little bit of danger in that sound, right? What a terrific piece. That is a delight to listen to. I've said that about every single track so far, and I'm going to continue to say it because Sonic and Mario have delightful tracks, but that had some major delightful stank on it. You can't help but like picture a character. Even like it ever so slightly was kind of violent, and I really admired that about that piece because it didn't shy away from really leaning into the things that make that particular instrument of the saxophone really interesting and special. And I felt like it was a really unique track. And honestly, Mario, stop looking at me like that. I know that I keep doing Sonic first, but we're actually going in a row. I just think that Mario's going to have an uphill battle here, okay? I said what I said. Let's check out Super Mario Galaxy 2 Cloudy Court Galaxy. Oh, no, that's nice, though. Oh, I love it. I enjoy that snare in the background. That's so delightful. Let's just stop really quickly and just talk about the monumental difference between this track. And I said I wasn't going to compare too much while listening to each because I want to give each their own personal space. What's really interesting about juxtaposing something that's real stank jazzy, sort of like really leans into the big band quality of the saxophone versus this, which is very purely lovely, classically, I wouldn't say classical, but it's like orchestral. They couldn't be more diametrically opposed. I really like the sweet brightness that this one provides. There's a warmth in this sound, a sort of invitation to play. There's a delight in the snare drum. There's a delight in a lot of the unison movement that we have in the strings and also with the brass. There's a quality of this that is just really, really, really friendly. I really like that. And so maybe it's not as like, I was about to say austere as if I know what that word means, but maybe it's not as sexy, dare I say, or call a sonic track sexy. It lacks a little bit of the edge of the previous sonic track that we listened to, but it can't be denied how incredibly playful and bright and lovely this piece is. The flutes in here especially are really, really just nice. They really remind me, we're talking about werebears and werewolves, and the flute does sort of have that quality of the beautiful bird out in the distance, and you just see the sun. Obviously Super Mario Galaxy is a real bright game for the most part, tropical in its nature, and warm and sunny beaches and things like that. Wow. Oh, that's great. Oh, I love that emphasis. Slight shift in tone and key. I love this little motif here. This is terrific. Da, 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 da. Isn't that nice? Love that. Dun, 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 triplet. So the one thing I can tell you already is the fact that most of the sonic pieces that I've heard so far were a bit lacking when it came to the melody department. Now, they were all really good, but they didn't necessarily have the melody on display that Mario has had. And if that is a point of contention, or if that is a thing that really is important to you, it would be pretty obvious why you would pick Mario over Sonic. Now, musically, I actually found the Sonic piece to be more interesting because it offered a uniqueness about it that was really, really, really satisfying. That said, it's impossible to deny how incredibly good this track is, from its warmth, its brightness, the syncopation there, the triplets, I should say, bam, bam, bam. The sort of supported emphasis of melody in this by pretty much all of the orchestra. There's a lot of doubling and a lot of playing the same notes, or playing the same rhythms, but with harmony within each other, that I think was incredible. And if we were basing it on melody alone, Super Mario Galaxy 2's piece here, Cloudy Court Galaxy, would actually win. But in terms of just my initial initial impressions, I would say that it would go to Sonic simply for the fact that we had that wonderful big band saxophone ensemble soundscape mixed in with that terrific improvisational saxophone, alto saxophone solo, which I thought really set that piece apart and made it more unique, even though I think as a comprehensive melodic piece, Cloudy Core Galaxy would definitely win in that regard. So again, this is completely irrelevant. None of it's real, but for the sake of this particular battle that I've decided to create, I definitely think it goes to Sonic there. 2-1, Sonic in the lead. Another disadvantage to Mario in this particular instance is that Sonic Colors has actually become one of my favorite soundtracks, and it's a game I desperately want to play. So I'm not really sure how this is going to go, since this actually is not a piece I've heard before, but this is the Versus Nega-Wisp Armor Phase 2 from Sonic Colors. Let's check it out. It's like classical music meets Sonic somehow. The motif. I love this color, this Sonic Colors motif. When I said Sonic motif, I didn't mean that. I meant this. Bum, 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 bum. I gotta be honest, I wasn't crazy about that, and I'll tell you why. I think context with that one probably is really important. I've also heard the vocal theme, which I much more prefer. I definitely like it. I'm not gonna say it's like poopy or anything. It's definitely not poopy. Nothing about Sonic is poopy, but I would say that track didn't land for me as much as I hoped it would. I definitely appreciated the orchestral remix of it. Orchestral remixes are always great, and I love sort of covers. Obviously, I know that this is a tradition for Sonic to feature the boss theme to be sort of classically based or based with orchestration. I really like it, but I have to say I'm so partial to the original that actually was all I was hearing while hearing that. So that actually, I mean, it could still go to Sonic. Let's swing over to Mario. Mario has a chance to take it now. Mario has a chance to tie this up, and I have no contingency plan for a tie because I just assumed there wouldn't be one. This is new Super Mario Bros. From the DS, the castle theme. Apparently, this is the best castle theme Mario has ever had. I will be the judge of that. Another instance of Mario really succeeding at what Mario does best, and that is talking about melody. Melody in this particular one was exceptional. It really had the pirate theme down, and there's a bit of desperation in that melody. Ba 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 da ba 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 da. Really appreciated that. Also, really love the classic castle sound. A lot of nostalgia there for me as well. I really appreciate that sort of like organ mixed with like sort of kind of harpsichord. That specific sound font is really wonderful, and also what I really appreciated about that was that it was melody driven. But we have ourselves a conundrum. The Sonic piece was all melody, and if the other pieces that we listened to from Sonic haven't had melody, that one most certainly did in spades. And so unfortunately, it's going to come down to a coin toss because I can't make a decision. Both of those are interesting in their own ways, and I enjoyed both and kind of didn't enjoy both at the same time. And it doesn't really appear that I have any coins, but what I do have is a PlayStation 2 memory card. Heads is Sonic, tails is Mario. This one's an audible. Here we go. I don't know what audible means. I don't do sports. Sonic gets it. Sonic is now ahead thanks to this PlayStation 2 8MB memory card. Sonic 3, Mario 1. I'm sorry, I just couldn't make a decision in that particular case. Both had their strengths. Both relied on melody, but ultimately, I didn't like either one, really. Realistically, it's pretty hard to imagine Mario turning this sucker around. I do have 2 more tracks each. Let's listen to and enjoy Supporting Me, the BioLizard from Sonic Adventure 2. Oh, interesting. Yada yada. Obviously a very tense sound. That's a really interesting melody to play back there too. It has a real ominous sound quality in there. Da-do-ya-ya-do. Right? That's a little bit of dissonance is uncomfortable. Of course, there's an edge in there as well. There's almost a sound of anger in that, especially with those electric guitars in particular, which makes sense based on the fact that we're dealing with shadow in this particular case. Repeating that motif. I gotta say, that one, I wasn't crazy about it. I mean, I think that the things that it did really cool was the dissonance and the stress of that sound, of course, was enough to put us on edge, enough to make us feel uncomfortable, enough to make us feel like, okay, I really appreciated that melody. What does that do? When we re-enter the upper register, so we go da, 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 we go a little bit higher, da, da, same rhythm pattern, da, da, ya, da. That causes a bit of tension, doesn't it? And I really appreciated that. Also, the muffled singing was really interesting, really, really fun to listen to. I think the muffled singing also added a great atmosphere. It had obviously that dark, edgy quality that we would expect out of Sonic Adventure 2, featuring the Bio Lizard, of course, and Shadow, and that sort of dynamic at play. But for me, it didn't really do much, and I think it's one of those pieces that probably works insanely well in context. Context is probably not really applicable in this particular case because we're basing this off of the music. They're standing as it is in this head-to-head battle. So I think this one could very easily go to Mario depending on what's going on here. And while there is a seismic lead with Sonic, anything is possible. Let's check out Vivian's theme from Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door, the Switch remake. Very curious to hear what this sounds like. Wow. This is doing something incredible here because not only is it causing tension, but it's also done with instruments that are pretty bright. You got the accordion in there, I'm pretty sure. You have a sort of like real like bright high and short snaps of the violin. There's a quality in here both of danger, but also of possibility and opportunity. And so what ends up happening in this particular track, it's inviting. I don't know Vivian as a character at all, so let me just think about this for a second, because it's a little kooky, it's a little zany, it's a little wild, it's a little kind of like, whoa, we don't know what she's gonna do. Like, it's kind of Vivian's all over the place, but there's an air of like, she's kind of crazy, but we love her. You know what I mean? That's the kind of sound quality that comes across here. A little bit of danger in there, a little bit maybe of recklessness, an impossibility of being able to sort of, kind of just does whatever Vivian wants to do, Vivian's doing. And you kind of just have to go along for the ride, but there's a warmth and a charm in that sound, even though it's like, whoa, getting kind of pulled around by the end of a rope, if you will. There is a spooky sound in there. I'm not sure if this means that this is like a Haunted Mansion theme. I don't know who is Vivian a boss. The Thousand Year Door, this is the RPG. Yes. It must be a boss. I'm not sure though. But anyway, the woo definitely gives way to like the ghost element of Super Mario. I love the harpsichord mixed with the piano in here. Oh. I love that, by the way. There's a little bit of playfulness in there, but really that rhythmic entity there, that rhythmic movement is really, really interesting to listen to. That has a sound. The thought that came to my head was there's a vibrancy in that sound, and it's a very alive rhythm, isn't it? Right? There's just like a real, like, almost like everything is punctuated, and that punctuation is really interesting to me. The complexity in that particular piece, the whimsy in that particular piece, the danger in that particular piece, without ever sounding like true like horror music or like really actually dangerous, is there in spades. I really appreciated the rhythms. I mean, I like Supporting Me, but honestly, I can't even remember it after listening to Vivian's theme here. Just in terms of how this piece is constructed, I'm much more a fan of this particular piece. That now puts Mario 2-3, and it does seem like Sonic is. Oh my God! What is that? No! What is this? Oh no! Oh no! You can't be serious with this. Oh, this is cheating, Mario. No way. Oh no! It's so good! It's so bright and warm and inviting! Those horns! Oh man, this is such a beautiful melody line. You can't help but smile at this piece, huh? It's so warm and inviting and bright. It's one of the most delightful music melodies in video game history, and for good reason. I know it's overplayed, I know it's done quite a bit, but the inherent warmth in that, and the brightness, and the wonderful guitar backing this terrific melody line with the oboes and with the strings is hard to deny. Not only that, but the middle section is terrific with the trumpet and the harmony that's occurring in there as well. It just really is a terrific piece of music, and I know that we do hear it a lot, and I know that it's one of these pieces that sort of transcends time and space when we think about Super Mario and Super Mario Galaxy. I would probably say that in some ways, Gusty Garden Galaxy is probably, in some ways, more iconic to me at this point in history where we are today than probably like the original Super Mario theme. I do think that it's a piece that really stands on its own, and I really never get tired of it. I know that, you know, we live in a pretty jaded world, but when you hear Gusty Garden Galaxy, you can't help but smile, though it was a bit of a sneaky move for Mario to come out of nowhere and throw that in my face and literally knock me out of my chair. I mean, I think that that's unacceptable, and Mario does owe me an apology, but in this particular case, we are at a tie. This is a 3-3 moment now. And so Sonic has one chance to redeem himself. Sonic has one chance to prove that Sonic can be top dog. Otherwise, we will land this in a tie. I don't know if we'll be able to break this tie up, but endless possibilities from Sonic Unleashed may very well give Sonic the lead and clinch this victory. And clinch this victory, let's see for ourselves. Love that melody. That's a great melody. That's a great melody. I see it. It's always been inside of me. I love this rhythm is used in so many Sonic tracks, and it's really exceptional. Love that harmony in there too. I love the upper register. All in my dream. I see it. I see it. It's always been inside of me. Now I feel so free. It's possibility. Oh. This is the werehog. Yeah. Sick riff. That's terrific. Has a similar improvisational quality as the sax piece that we heard earlier, which I really appreciate. And then the slowdown. Also, lyrically, it's great. I see it, it's all within my reach. Amazing lyrics. Super bright. I see
it now. It's always been inside of me. And now I feel so free. And there's possibility. And there's possibility. And there's possibility. And there's possibility. And there's possibility.
I really appreciate the message of that piece. I appreciate how, even though it has that like thousands sort of like punk rock, Blink 182, like the stuff of my childhood, it actually wasn't loud. It still felt pretty pulled back. And what I really appreciated about that is that it allowed for like a kind of introspection, which I found really interesting. And on top of that, it did a great job of also connecting us character-wise with the context of Sonic Unleashed, with the werehog element of that. I also thought that the singing was terrific, and going into the upper register, like, I really like that motif. It didn't overstay its welcome. I felt that the middle section with the guitar riff was super good, and it was a great piece. Okay, so now we find ourselves at a crossroads. I, being the referee and the host of this battle, have a really important decision to make. The winner of this battle between Sonic and Mario is Sonic the Hedgehog, ladies and gentlemen. Sonic the Hedgehog definitely wins this one. It just clinched it by just a second when Mario off the top rope decided that Gusty Garden Galaxy needed to appear on this episode. We didn't plan for that, but Sonic won. Sonic won. Sonic won. I'm very happy to announce that. It was close. It was so close. And in my mind, while that song was playing, I really said, is this really better than Gusty Garden Galaxy? And I have to say, it's equal. It's tied. It's interesting in its own way. And after all, this game, this battle, really ultimately is pointless because we both know that the real winners here is all of us who get to enjoy video game music. I really had a great time doing this. Let me know what kind of crazy combinations you want to hear next, whether it's Doom versus Animal Crossing, or Ace Combat versus Assassin's Creed, or Ace Attorney against Ace Combat, or Dark Souls versus Bloodborne. We're going to do it all. I'm really excited for this series. I hope you are too. Thanks a ton, and I hope you had a good time. See you later.